Morning, welcome to the video. So it's Tuesday 16th of July, which is just madness. I don't know where this year has gone. It has flown by. So last week, if you remember, on Tuesday in fact, I was out doing just treatments all around the local area to me, and I got a couple done, and then it started to rain. So then I had the option of whether I was going to do a maintenance day, an office day, but actually I chose to just carry on and just do the feeding side of it. So that was great, because what that means is obviously the rain's watering in the fertilizer straight away, so there's no issues from the client needing to worry about it. So that was perfect. And then the plan is that yesterday I would have gone back around those houses plus a few others, and just done the weed side of it, and obviously the others, the weed and the feed. Unfortunately the weather had different ideas, so it was raining, it was on and off, so I was back and forth. So go out, do a few. I now have a product which I add to the selective, so as long as the leaf is dry when the product goes down, it's rain fast almost instantly. So yeah, that gives me a lot more flexibility. So in some cases I was out with a blower, just blowing off the surface, just getting rid of any moisture that's kicking around, get rid of that, get the product down, stuck to the leaf, perfect. So that was basically yesterday, but then I was back at home into the office doing stuff, and then for an hour, and then back out again. Fortunately everything was local to the house, so it was great. I was around all over the place, but I got the jobs done, apart from one actually, which I'll go to today, but that's fine. Plenty of communication, no issues there. But also what it gave me a chance to do is in and amongst the showers, I was able to sort out my emailing system and what had gone wrong there. No idea, to be honest. At one stage I've got two email addresses. I got one loaded and it was working fine, and I couldn't get the other one on, and then somehow that one disappeared, and then I got the other one back on, but I couldn't get them both on. Back and forth with the guy from the technical side of it who was helping me, and eventually we got it done. So everything's back up and running. So now if you were to phone the number on the website, it would go through to the guys who answer the phone. They would be able to fill out the customer contact form, and it would then find its way to me, all within a couple of seconds. So yeah, it's a big relief to get that done. And actually the weather in some ways gave me the options to sit down and get that sorted. So yeah, so today is fortnightly Tuesday mowing day, so I'm going to do those, plus so one of the lawns, which is a fortnightly mow, is also going to have a feed, and then there's also the job from yesterday which I didn't get to, which is a very small one. So yeah, usual Tuesday. You've seen this one a million times before, so I probably won't show too much of it. Be interesting to see what the lawns are like, because yesterday evening was torrential rain, and I mean torrential. So it's yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the lawns are like. I expect now, because we've had a few hours of no rain, they should be fine. Although it is saying that we're going to sort of, it's like a chance of rain all day. I mean, at the minute it's kind of blue skies, little kind of white fluffy clouds, so it doesn't look too menacing at the moment, but who knows. Anyways, I'm going to get loaded up. I'll see you at one of the jobs, I guess. Okay, so what is going on here? So it's definitely cutting, as you can see, and it's collecting and doing everything. By the time we get to an area of thick stuff, it then starts to bog down. So blade is, no, that's not right, is it? So I can only assume that the belt, this is my first instinct, that the belt is damaged, frayed, so it's gripping, but it's not doing enough, because it's got to be working it to some extent, because it is mowing and everything. It's only when it gets to the really thick stuff that it sort of bogs down. I can't really see in there enough to see any belts as such. I don't know is the answer. Without taking it off, I think what I will do is try and I've only got 2 more. I've only got that half of the lawn to do and one other for today, and then I don't need the mower again. So I think what I'll do is no, I've got another one, haven't I? I might just go and swap the mowers, which is you know, which is a great feature of working close to where all your mowers are kept and having spare mowers of the same brand as such. So I might just go and swap it for the moment quickly, and then bring it back, because yeah, I've got two more that I need to do. Yeah, sorry, trying to think and speak at the same time is quite difficult. Right, I'm going to go and swap this. Okay, so this is the older one, the one which has got the blade spinning. Unfortunately, because of the couple of jobs I've got to do, I can't have the brush on because I'll never get it out either up and down the steps or on one it's a fortnightly, which I'd normally use a Time Master, but the Time Master's too wide to get past the downpipe, so I've got to basically use this one. So I've got to take the brush off basically, which is annoying, but it is what it is. So and also I know that one's got a sharp blade on it. I don't know the state of that blade, so I might just check that and swap those over while I'm doing it too. So yeah, and it's beginning to rain. Okay, I've just checked the blade on the newer one and it's fine. So I'm not going to bother swapping them over, but here's the belt. I don't know if you can see, there's a few sort of cracks in it and stuff like that, but could it be that? I mean, I've pulled it round, there's not any obvious, you can tell when they sort of split and fray sometimes. Can't do it one-handed, but is it that? Is it just stretched? I wouldn't be able to tell without taking it all off. But anyways, yeah, that's I suspect it's something to do with that. Anyways, right, I better get back. Just one other thing, just before I started cutting that lawn, I did fill this right up, and actually that has got some fuel in it, but what I can do is take this fuel out, because I'm certainly not going to use this for the rest of the week, because I'm just not going to have time to look at this. So yeah, we will decant some of that into there and the rest back into the jerry can, and then yeah, saves the fuel just sitting around. Okay, so it's Tuesday evening. It's about 8 o'clock now, and it's actually turned out to be quite a nice evening, considering it threatened to be like really horrible, rainy all day. So we've got 2 things going on. One is I've looked into the hater, and I've spoken to a trusted friend who has advised me that it's probably the clutch plate. So it's got the BBC on it, so it's probably that's the issue, and he's given me a couple of symptoms which actually it probably was suffering from, but because it was kind of a slow burner, you probably not quite so aware of those things because they happen very, very gradually. So anyway, so that's that. So I need to look into that. I think the part's about 160 quid of the very brief bit of research I've done. But anyways, that it is what it is. It looks as though it's a relatively easy fix. I've literally spent a couple of minutes looking online, so that's that. So anyway, now you'll notice behind, well actually we've got some patio chairs in the van from a party at the weekend where we lent them the chairs, so I picked them up on the way home. In there is a Time Master, the newer Time Master, and here is the old Time Master. And if you remember, on the new Time Master, I suppose it's the blade, I can never say it, blade break, or the blade engage cable, as I sort of tend to call it, snapped, and the old Time Master had a few issues, so rather than just using that one, I robbed the part off it, so that was fine. But now that the old one is up and running, the plan for tomorrow is for myself and Jacob to double team everything with the Time Masters. It's a Time Master day, so we should get both mowers out and try and smash the day out. We've got some other stuff we need to do as well, but yeah, essentially get the Time Masters going, and we can literally particularly on the lawns which we need to darken light, I can cut it and he can just be one inside of me, and hopefully that'll be a good way of training him. Just trying to get the speed up really is the main thing. So anyway, that's that. So I need to put the cable on, and I've sort of shown how I did that a couple of weeks ago for the last one. The only thing I sort of forgot about actually is this sits on here somehow, somewhere. I guess like that. Anyway, the point is that it's snapped off, and I've not ground it out or done anything. I think you'd have to probably take the engine off, so I'm not doing that. So I might just have to come up with some super ingenious idea on how to basically the cable sits in there in position, so I'll have to come up with some super ingenious idea on how to keep that there. Probably will involve just leaving it as it is and hoping for the best, but you've got to try these things. So very quickly, essentially this bit here hooks on to this bit here, and then when you engage here, you pull that back, or of course it's like that, you pull that back, that tightens the cable, that pulls it, that pushes this pulley, probably can't do it from this angle, what can you see, that pushes it, which tensions this, and that's what then makes this go round, so that makes this one spin round, and then this cable here makes the other one spin round, and that's how you mow. So anyways, first thing we've got to do is hook this on. Really fiddly. You have to get your hand in there, and it's a right pain, but it's doable. Okay, so I've done just a little bodge there, just to keep that in place. So it's got a little nut behind it. I can't remember whether it held it so it didn't move or not, but it certainly holds it in place. So that should be enough. Okay, so in theory everything should be working. One thing to check now, bearing in mind I haven't used this since March of last year. Now if I've robbed cables off it, there was a good chance I've robbed some sharp blades off it, so fortunately I had sharpened those blades last week, so these are the ones I took off, which they're not too bad, they're enough to get by for tomorrow anyway. So I'm going to chuck these ones on here, and then yeah, I'll give it a test. I think we'll be alright. Okay, so sometimes when you're not sure what's gone wrong, you just have to compare and contrast. So this is the new one, and you can see the plate there, which is on, but one thing it does do is it holds that in place. So what I've done is I've pulled this back to get that sort of tight-ish, and then put it down so it doesn't move, and that's the problem. This is too close, so I need to go back to the other one and come up with an idea on how to make that lock it tight, basically. So I'll have to think a little bit harder. Sometimes there are some things you have to do which you do not want people finding out about. There are sometimes you have to do bodges which you are embarrassed about, but sometimes you just do what you've got to do. I'll show you what I've done. Now this is the bodge of all bodges. Now essentially I needed to clamp this down and to stop this from sliding.
and I was really struggling to do it. So what I thought was, I came up with this idea of packing matches in, but I just couldn't do it. So then I thought, okay, well, I'll stick some matches in the little well, put the cable back down, and then clamp this back into place. And that, just one match, just this sitting on one match has done it. It's not going anywhere, it's holding everything into place, and it's all working perfect. Essentially, I've bodged it by using a match. It's not my finest hour, but at 9:15 at night, and I haven't had a shower or dealt with any emails, which I can now deal with, which is a bugger in itself. I'm going to take that as a win. Now, I think what I'll do is, again, I'll break another rule now, the guard off, so I can just monitor it tomorrow and check it's all okay. Maybe take some spare matches, and well, I can have myself a fire as well if I want. Maybe chuck the whole bloody thing on it. But I think it's done. But I mean, that's not going to last, is it? But if it gets me through tomorrow, that's something, isn't it? And then Thursday, I don't necessarily need 2 time masters out. Friday, I won't need a time master out. And then we've got a couple of days of lawn care next week. So, and then Wednesday, I can't even think that far ahead. So anyway, for the moment, done. Got to put it all away now. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm done. So I'll see you tomorrow, bright and early, to go and cut somebody else's lawn. Morning. So it's Wednesday. It's 8:30. We've already made a start. Jacob's just trimming some stuff up. We're going with the 2 time masters today. That's the theory anyway. And we're just gonna, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, just trimmed these up. So we're just gonna trim this one up now. Just round here, and then we'll see what the time is. Once we've certainly done this bit, maybe that bit. This is just a little bonus one, just basically for an hour. That's about all we've got to do today as extra for today. If I show you this bit, if you remember this here, this was the whole area where the client wanted 2 bags of soil, thought she could do like what 1.5 cubic meters of soil could do. But anyway, that's coming nicely, isn't it? That's lovely. So that's worked out really well, as have the few other areas over there. Yeah, this is where we are today. So first job is a little bit of hedging. Just while I'm making some mess, I've just got him just doing a bit of the strimming before we move on to the mowing in about an hour's time. So today's been a really good day, actually. It feels like a long one, but it isn't. You know, we've only been going about 7.5 hours. 3 properties done. We were able to use time masters on both, and my matchstick trick worked perfectly. It's obviously not a long-term thing, but it's held up, and I don't see why it's not going to hold up. So yeah, no, really pleased with that. So that's cool. Right, well, gonna have to get home. Hopefully in time for haircuts tonight. Right, see you tomorrow. Okay, so it's a beautiful day in the garden. The footage you just saw was of Jacob doing some striping, his second sort of striping job. I'm back at this lawn, which is looking really decent now. We're not mowing today because what we're doing is the top of the hedge. If you remember, this is the hedge. Let me spin this like this. So this is the hedge that Jacob practiced on. It's a bit all over the place. It's just kind of like a boundary hedge which has got out of control. And then 2 weeks ago, I put the top in, or sort of cut it in. We're on the big henchman today. And then what I'm basically trying to do is just put the top in like here. So this is the long handled hedge trimmer, and I've got the extension bar, but I am not going to be able to get to the to the edge of it, it's too wide. The client has gone round and spoken to the neighbour, who is although this field is miles away from their house, she's refusing access to just trim the top of the hedge, because it's too, I can't think what the word is she used, but it's nonsense basically. But it is what it is, so I'm just going to try and reach as much as I can, and that's all I can do. Okay, so there we are from a distance. I'm effectively just following what has been done before me. You can see what hasn't been done. I'm going to stick the 1 meter extension pole on, and I think that will get a lot of it. But actually, even if I can't quite reach it, if I can hack a bit at the top or just do something to get that down, and then if we've got time, you can see it just rises up there. I might just try and deal with that a little bit. But yeah, not bad. Okay, so there we are. Remember, it is too intrusive to go around and cut that little bit off. So unfortunately, that with the extension bar is is as good as it's going to be, where it looks ridiculous. But that is, you can have all this land and you can still have really petty neighbours. So it turned out to be a nice day. So it's nearly 30 degrees actually. It's about 28 where I am. So got the hedge cut. I was just like looking right into the sun, face was baking. So then we just did a little final weekly cut lawn to finish off. I'll show you it now. So this is a lawn that I showed you I think last week. I've only been doing it, can't even be 2 months, so a month and a half, 6 weeks say. I think after the first cut I sprayed for the weeds, and then last week I then fed it with some Delta 1248, and obviously then we had some rain over the weekend, and loads of rain on, I can't remember, it was Monday night, wasn't it? So if you can cast your mind back to what it looked like, this is a week later, so it's greened up really nicely. So yeah, really happy about that. And of course this hasn't had any maintenance or anything yet, so this is in need of a really good scarifying, top dressing, overseeding, all the works. But there's no sense in doing that now, because people want to enjoy their lawns during the summer and not have to stay off them and have them look like a beach or a flower bed or whatever, because they've just got soil or sand or whatever it is over them. So yeah, so we're just going to be mowing and just trying to treat the weeds, improve the lawn as we go along, until we get to a point where we're ready to do some work. And by that I mean probably late August, early September. People want to enjoy their gardens, so there's no sense in doing any setting the lawns back at this stage. So Friday, predicted 30-degree heat. I reckon in the sunshine it's about 8:30 now, and it's probably about 22 already. It was certainly 20 in the van when I turned up. I've probably been here maybe half an hour, and it certainly feels hotter already. So 2 weeks ago I fed these lawns. So I've not cut them yet, I've just trimmed them, and I don't know if you can remember them, but they've certainly popped back now, and they're nice and lush, which is perfect. So really come back on, so that's decent. And the back, they were potentially going to be doing some work, so they said leave the back, don't worry about it too much, just obviously cut it and stuff. But they've now currently stalled their plans, so they've said, can you improve the lawn? So I fed it, and for the first time this lawn's looking really lush. I know you can't really see it because of the shade, but yeah, this is going to be a cut. So with the negative 30-degree heat, I think until I think tomorrow's going to be hot as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stripe everything up, but I'm actually just going to take everything up 1 notch higher, just to leave a little bit more leaf. And by leaving a little bit more leaf, I'm just leaving a little bit more moisture, just to help protect the leaf through this period. And then next week, if the temperatures drop, then I'll just knock it down 1. So yeah, I'll give you a quick pic when I've finished. Okay, so there's the back garden. It's not striped up. I've gone side to side just to mix it up a little bit, just so the wheel marks and everything doesn't end up rutting. So yeah, just changed it up a bit. And here's the front garden. So obviously I'm at the other property now. So this was fed, there you go. This was fed 2 weeks ago. Nicely striped up. And yeah, looking very lush and green. As I say, cut it a notch higher today just to keep a little bit more moisture in the leaf, and hopefully that will just help see it through this hot period.